Before you see the dogs, you hear them, and it's really loud. The lab gives you big noise-canceling headphones to wear to drown out all the barking. You yank open big heavy doors to enter concrete rooms. It's morning, but it's still dark. There's no windows. The rooms are filled with fluorescent lights. The dogs are held in enclosures, about 6 kennels down each side of the room that are raised into the air on some sort of platform. The smell hits you. It doesn't smell good where the dogs are held, but then you clean with a lot of chemicals, spray everything down with a hose, and the whole place won't smell like the dogs anymore, just the chemicals. I need you to know that seeing how these dogs acted was awful. If you walked by, they would just lunge at you towards the front of the kennel. If you actually tried to approach a dog, she would kind of cower towards the back of the kennel. She'd just go silent with her tail between her legs, just so scared. These weren't aggressive dogs. They wouldn't growl or snap or anything like that. They're beagles, and beagles are bred to be docile. I guess that's why they're bred to be in experiments. But they were just very scared and very, very reactive. I've worked with shelter dogs before. Before I worked at the lab, I volunteered at the Humane Society. And a lot of these dogs have survived abuse, which explains why some of them act the way they do. And at a shelter, you work with them and you feel grateful that soon they'll be with a family who loves and cares for them. But in the lab, it's just like you're forcing these dogs into this situation. There's no happy ending here. And I think that's part of the reason I had to be detached. You don't give a dog treats, you don't give a dog toys. Mentally, you don't want to make a connection with these animals because you know what the outcome is going to be. And so each day, I'd get in, do my job, and get out. I'd toss food into stainless steel buckets. Sometimes the dogs were scared, and they would just wait until we were gone before they would even try to eat. I'd wash the cages, scrub everything down. The lab gave us face shields and gloves to wear. I feel like the sight of me scared the dogs. Some of the dogs, they were definitely dirtier than others. They stood in their own poop and urine that was supposed to fall through the slats beneath them, but most of the time, it didn't. I wasn't allowed to wash the dogs. I wasn't allowed to touch them. I'm sure these dogs have very little human contact their entire lives, and the humans they do know show no kindness. I was curious what the university was doing with these dogs, so I asked around a lot. I don't remember all of the details, but I do remember another lab worker saying that they were giving the beagles hairline fractures in their legs just to see how they healed. I never saw anybody give any painkillers or any sort of medication, but I did see what experimenters were doing to other animals, like mice, and it was disgusting. In the biology department, I saw mice and rats with rods in their heads. I saw a lot of hairless mice with tumors growing on them, but the worst was when I saw 2 mice that had literally been sewn together down the middle. These 2 mice still had all of their limbs, but somehow, between their arms, partially on their back, they were sewn together. Watching them was pretty horrific, especially when they were both trying to move. I mean, I'm talking about 2 separate beings. They were trying to move separate ways. They had clearly ripped stitches and pulled apart at some point because there was this blood from where they had ripped at each other. It was awful. Ultimately, I think some of them learned that the only way to survive is to stop moving altogether. Even when I tried to give them water or feed them or even clean up a little, they would just sit there and not move. Another time, I saw one of the conjoined mice had died. The live mouse had to move around the cage, eating, drinking, all while carrying the dead mouse along with him. It was like the dead mouse's face, body, arms. They were all part of his body now. Can you imagine what that surviving mouse was thinking? It was like Frankenstein. I'd never seen anything like that in my life. It might seem hard to believe, but I got that job because I love animals and I enjoy science. So I went to Purdue University to get my degree in animal science, and at the time the job just seemed like the right fit. But it was messed up, and it messed me up. And it wasn't just the specific experiments that were happening, it was the sheer amount of animals. I mean, there was 1,000+ mice in one room, and there were hundreds of rooms all over Purdue's campus holding these animals. I mean, the numbers are absolutely shocking. And they're just sitting there day in and day out with nothing to do. They can't do anything that comes natural to them. And it's just so frustrating. Eventually, I just thought to myself, this can't be happening. So I decided to go to my supervisor and I said, is there anything you can do about this? And she said no. And so I had to quit. And I had to do what was right.